Okay, so we've just invested in a small fibre laser. I didn't want to spend, multiple thousands getting one of the larger systems, but I was not happy with some of the other machines that I've seen on eBay and Amazon. And then I came across this. I think it was a completely random YouTube link. It's called a Mr. Carve. Again, I don't know how they make these things up. Let's say fibre laser. It was on Amazon. It didn't make it clear that it was coming from China, but it did come in China by FedEx in about 4 days. I haven't had any duty requests. They've marked the commercial invoice at $256 US. This particular machine, the Pro, this is the M1 Pro full pack. It comes with the rotary rollers and the rotary chuck for doing rings and various things. So this particular one is 1400. So yeah, I'm not expecting to get a bill from the revenue, but we'll see what happens. Normally if there is a bill, it's collected before delivery by the couriers, so we'll see. So yeah, the CO2 laser obviously can't do metals. There is a limit to how fine it can engrave as well. Alright, so first thing, we've got a USB cable. Now apparently this does not work with Lightburn, and you have to use their own software, which is called CCAD. I think it's a variant of EasyCAD. Not worked with either of them, just getting used to Lightburn. So let's have a look, see what we've got. Well, that is, I have to turn this down, I think, just down a little bit, and then we'll have a closer look. So that is going to be the rotary chuck. I'll have a closer look at that at the moment. It's got a USB connection, strangely enough, various bits and pieces in there. Let's just put this all to the side and then we'll have a closer look. We have, well, what the hell that is, some sort of base with gradient, yeah, not sure. This is, oh okay, well that's the rotary machine. The rubber's a bit marked, very sticky. Would have preferred not to see any marks on the rubber rollers though. Don't know whether you can see that. It's probably not going to make any difference in actual use. And yeah, that metal there is a bit dodgy. I don't know whether you can see that. I think it's they've welded in a captive nut each end and it's just poking out a little bit, especially this one. That's not brilliant, but I wasn't expecting perfection. Oh okay, now this looks like it comes in a big box. Right, that's interesting. This is a well, it's like the pellets that you get in packaging sometimes. It looks like it's compressed pellets. A very interesting way of doing that. Okay, so actually let's get these other bits out of the way. So we've got a bit of space, which we're rapidly running out of in here. Okay, so we have a nice hard plastic handle. Yeah, just basic. Oh, blimey. That's a good start, can't even open it. Okay, here we go. Okay, so all cut out nicely. Well, that has been damaged by poor packaging. That's a shame. So we've got the M1 operations manual. looks like that is all in English, so we've got an English version there throughout. Looks like it covers the software, importing images. We have what looks like a magnetic, I'm not sure it is magnetic. We have a guide, or positioning plate as they call it there. We have some damaged, these are focusing pieces. And that's such a shame that that's been damaged just through bad packaging. It was put into here and has damaged the focusing paper. We have a very basic ruler. We have some examples to actually engrave. That's a nice touch. I mean, it probably costs them virtually nothing. Let's just have a little look, see what we've got. So we've got some quite thick business cards there, just a couple by the looks, or is it a pack of, actually they're thin ones, probably a pack of 5 or 10. We have some metal key rings. They're quite nice actually, sort of gunmetal finish. And we have, funnily enough, some black dog bones. We have a silver steel dog tag, another bone, a larger piece of just steel, I think. Another dog tag and another piece of steel, just for practicing on and getting used to the machine, so that's quite helpful. We have the important UK plug. Used to be that all this stuff came with the wrong plug and mains cable. This doesn't look very long, so you may need to change that for a longer lead. We have another USB cable. We have a technical support card. Again, that's been damaged by bad placement in here. In English. Yep, okay, no problem there. And we have some glasses now. Whether you could trust these, I doubt it very much. They are not marked with any wavelength, I don't think. Well, they do have an EN 166-FCE mark on the side, but yeah, and an ANSI Z8 7.1 mark, but I see no mentions of the optical frequency that these would be suitable for, so we'll have to certainly wear them. We'll look into what the frequency is with this. Now, this is all joined up. And I see here a USB key has been zip tied to this cable. So, how are we going to do this? So, we've got a bracket. I think that's an alignment bracket, actually, that one. We've got a screw-in knob, some little Allen screws, some hex keys, and again some business cards there. So it looks like this all lifts out as one unit. Okay, now we're going to manage that. It's freezing cold and everything's a bit stiff, including this head. Okay, I think I got it. Oh shit. was lucky. That just pinched my skin any harder, that would have sliced through there just as that fell over. Right, and it's cold in here, so that hurt. Right, so we've got some very fragile looking wires in here. I don't know whether you can, yeah, I think you probably can see that. Jesus, that hurt. Yeah, very fragile wires there. I have to be real careful that they never get pinched. In my case, once this is set up, I don't expect it to be, you know, going anywhere. It certainly won't be put it back in its box very often, I wouldn't have thought. Okay, Jesus Christ. Right, okay, let's have a closer look. I like the colour. That's a substantial bit of weight there as well. Head is even heavier. So the bed has got a whole row of screws, holes, threaded holes. So obviously you can just screw this in place for accurate positioning. I assume this is the correct size. No, of course it's not. I don't really know what the point of that was. It would have been nicer to have had something that was especially for the bed, you know, the right size and shape. So yeah, not so sure about that. Okay, let's have a look at the instructions. So we've got USB on the side here. Let's see if I can spin that round. USB on the side. We have a on-off button at the side. We've got another mark in the metal just here, just moulding marks, just up and down for controlling the gantry or whatever you want to call it. And we've got power. That's an physical on-off. It's not a touch switch. It's on, off, and nothing down the other side. Okay, so it looks to me like this USB socket is for the rotary tools and the roller, and then we've got the main USB port on the back. Let's get this assembled first, and then we'll spin it round. So the first thing we're going to need to do is stop this from doing that. And there must be a screw that goes in there for that. So let's have a look. These bits out. Now it would be great if it's that. I don't think it is. Nope, it definitely isn't that. So what does go in there then? Let's have a look. Oh, the instruction book's damaged as well. Page just fallen out. Just looking through the instructions. So it looks like it's one of these hex screws that goes in there. Just find the right size. And that isn't right, because that won't go in there. Let's just poke that out again. Right, so what's going on here? We don't have the correct size screw. How can that be? I think that screw is for that. It must go into here somewhere. Across there as well. Yeah, it must screw into there. Yeah, it looks like there's two positions, so that one goes into there, no problem. get any of these into there, and then nor should I don't think, because you need 4 pieces to hold this down, I would have thought. Let's see if these screws are for this. Yeah. Oh, I say yes. Well, that's not going into there properly either. Oh dear, this isn't going very well, is it? Actually, that's probably my fault. I'm using the wrong key. Let's try that again. Let's just get it out the way. There we go. My mistake. Okay, so that's for that, no problem. But what goes in there? Because I am not seeing any other. So I have no idea then. What are we supposed to hold that up with? Can't even see the tighten the screws. Well, yeah, that's great, but there are no screws. Wonder if that should be captive and it's fallen out in the case. Let's have a look. And there it is. Okay, yeah, there we go. There is a large Allen key. That's got to go into the back. Oh, you could have found one easy enough from my 3D printing stuff. That is the larger of the keys, I suspect. There we go. So we'll do that up. Obviously this needs to be tight. You don't want any of this moving around whilst engraving. And I think this one also needs doing up. Yep. There we go. Trying to be a little careful here not to scratch the surface as I'm doing this screw up. There we go. Right, so it looks like then this goes on to the top. Looks like there's 2 positions here and here. Let's just see that that is the correct. Yeah, so it can go on there, it can come back a bit, go there, and you can actually reverse it completely and have it pointing back behind the machine for anything that's quite tall. This is quite a heavy unit. You certainly don't want to drop this. Okay, so let's get those out of the way. We'll put those in there. Sod it, let's just put them back in the bag. Right, so let's just lift this camera up a little bit so you get a better idea, hopefully, of what's what. There we go. So we already have a scratch on the top from the factory. I mean, it's relatively well made. It's what I would expect. The finishes on these things are never perfect. We've got a warranty sticker there. We've got a cap on the lens. There we go. Looks like that lens will unscrew. Just going to nip that into place, so that's done. That is 1064 nanometers f100, so that is giving us the spec, so we should be able to sort glasses out. Protective goggles according to that, 1064. So yeah, nothing underneath, just some little rubber silicon rubber feet. Looks like we've got a that's I don't know what that is. There's something here, I can't quite tell what it is. I don't know whether it's a laser guide. 120 millimeters from the engraving surface is apparently the ideal height, and yeah, it's a shame there's not a easier way of working that out other than with a ruler up the side. I was kind of expecting a scale to be on the side of the machine, really. It looks like we've got a laser red dot pointer, which is what this is actually. Looks like that's pointing down. I'll tell you what, let's just fire this up, and we've got test cards, that's what these black ones are. Put in the test card, press the up and down buttons for adjustment. When the two red lights converge into a red dot, focusing is completed. Standard distance between laser head and carving object is 120 millimeters, subject to actual measurement, whatever that means. So let's just see if we can plug this in. There we go. So let's see if we can move it up and down. Okay, so there is a laser coming out of the lens. There's another smaller one coming out of there, and let's just pick this up and show you. So you can see the bright one is from the main lens, and that one is coming from just underneath here, and you've got the up and down keys, and you can move that. So you come down, and when they converge you should be at the right height. I did say 120. So whether that's going to be correct or not. No, it's not 120, is it? That's 130. We get that in there, that is 130 almost, pretty much bang on. Whether you can see that, probably not. So I don't know where they get the 120 from. Interesting. This is obviously fully adjustable if it is incorrect, but you think they would have had that sorted at the factory. I guess we'll just have to do a test and see what's what, but at least it all fires up, which is the main thing. Yeah, definitely not 120 there, it is absolutely 130. Yeah, right, well, I guess the next stage is we'll see what's on the USB key, we'll get some software installed, and we'll give this a little test, but at least that was all working from the factory, which is always good. And yeah, well, so, you know, that's initial unboxing and assembly, which couldn't be easier, of the Mr. Carve. As I say, this is the Pro, M1 Pro. Let's just turn this off, it's a little bit noisy. I think what I'll do then is just put this camera back to the side, and we'll have a look at the tools that it comes with. So let's just unplug this. Yeah, that really isn't a very long lead, as you can see. So we will carry out that focusing test, and that's what these damaged cards are. Shame, not the end of the world, just bad packaging. If they want to sell more of these things, they're going to rely on, you know, reviews. They really should make sure that everything goes out, you know, pristine. I don't want to see scratches and marks and things on the machine, but that's how it is. Okay, so let's have a look at, I'm going to have to bring this camera down again. USB cable, and this is the roller. No instructions. Setup is generally fairly straightforward within the software. You've got to tell it various things, the diameter of the item being engraved. I mean, this is very, very basic. You know, that sort of thing's not really acceptable. There's just no need for it. That's been punched through and it's cracked the surface enamel. So again, if you want good reviews, especially when this was the first one that they'd sold on Amazon, you've got to do better than that. You've got to send out decent gear. You can possibly see the marks in the roller. It's probably not going to make the slightest bit of difference if you're putting something in there to be engraved. It's just going to sit there and be, you know, turned around like that and engraved. Now this is quite a small engraving area on this machine. It's 70 by 70, but you've got to spend, you know, a lot more money before you get a much bigger area to engrave, and this is perfect for the things that we want to start out with. So that's that, very basic, but at least there's not much to go wrong. So that's that one, and then we move on to, oh actually, yeah, there was something else, wasn't there? What was this for? Let me just open this. Didn't know what this was. Okay, so we've got, we'll put them on here, we've got some silicone, well they're sort of caps, like protective caps. You can see it best on there. Ah, I see, right, okay. So these are parts that go with the chuck. Right. So yeah, this goes in the chuck, and you've got spring-loaded, adjustable locking, well, they're knurled threaded nuts. So yeah, you would put your things on there, lock them in place, and yeah, go from there. Now it just shows a lack of thought. If they had marked these, you know, if these are 1mm lines, they could have easily marked those, couldn't they? 5, 10, 15, 20, all the way up, and that would have been very helpful, just for knowing the diameter of whatever you've put in there. And it also would have been helpful to keep things, you know, correctly. And no, you can see that that is incorrect. They're totally different positions. But it would have been nice if these slots were right next to the markings. That way, if you know the diameter of something, you could have just moved that, say, to that. Let's say it was that middle long line. Well, I haven't got a bloody clue of, I guess, in where that is. It's really hard to follow that round. So again, another mistake there, I think, in the design. I don't know why people don't think of these things. Okay, that looks like it is a mounting bracket to go onto the bed. So that's nicely made. Well, actually, I say it's nicely made. That doesn't look square. Have a look at that. That's not square, is it? The hell? Has that been done intentionally? It doesn't look very square to me. Can you see that? See the way that goes off slightly? I don't know whether you can see it or not, or whether it's just... No, it definitely goes off. My eyes aren't that bad. So they haven't even got that machined right. And it might just be that that screw needs loosening and the whole lot moved, which we will try. So if I'm going to complain about something, I might as well make sure that I'm correct. Okay, so we've got some big Allen keys, but we do not have small ones for adjusting that, and I don't think even the small one in here is going to do that, so I'm going to have to find my own and just loosen that and see if that will straighten up. But if that is supposed to be square, that is not been done very well. Right, on to the actual... we've got some smaller Allen keys in this bag. In fact, there's a few bits and pieces in here. Okay, so this is the main rotary chuck. Again, USB. I don't like bare wires just hanging there ready to be damaged over time. Surely they could do better than that. You see what I mean? Just not really good enough. So this is a simple rotary chuck. Okay, so you hold this bit and rotate it, and these chuck jaws will open. You've got various positions for these little inserts. So this is for rings, you know, you can put them on the inside, you can clamp little smaller things on the inside of that or the outside. Yeah, very nice. It feels relatively smooth, so yeah, no issues with that. Now quite how that fits on there, I don't know. Do you change the whole thing, or is that supposed to go? I suspect you change the whole thing. just put that back. That's on its smallest setting there. There's an Allen key screw there, and I suspect you will undo that, and then you can mount the whole thing in there. Yeah, definitely, that's what it is. Oh, actually, it unscrews. That's interesting. So that whole chuck unscrews. That does not go on there. So quite how that goes together, I don't know. I suspect that shouldn't have unscrewed, and yeah, that shouldn't unscrew. Or should it? If I unscrew that outer ring, which way is that thread? There we go. Yeah, okay, so a little bit of investigation to do there. Now, I don't recall seeing any instructions for this. I can't see the instructions for anything now. How did they go? Let's have a look. Do we have any instructions for the rotary tools? Focusing, software installation, basic drawing, picture processing, marking and how to control it, FAQ, and absolutely bugger all instructions on the rotary equipment. Well, that is not really good enough. I think for 1,400 quid, if you're selling a pro pack which includes all of this, you really have to include instructions on how to use all of this. That's just not acceptable. I have absolutely no idea what that's for. I see what these are for. They go over there just for anything that is fragile, might scratch, like well, whatever, like a painted drinks bottle, or you know, that sort of thing. What that is supposed to do, I don't know. Doesn't fit in there. Obviously it will actually say that, but the screw holes don't line up. You can only get 2 of the screw holes to line up. Whichever way you position this, only 2 line up. Oh dear. What's the point of that? They don't even line up in here. Well, that's just weird. I just don't know what that's for. I would hope that this lines up correctly. Although, how the hell do you get the 120mm? Yeah, so the holes, the slots in this line up here, no problem. But other than that, I really don't know what that's for. Again, great big ding in the side there. Oh, it's just annoying. It's just, you know, it's little things like that that put people off. Instead of me giving it a 10 out of... Actually, that does line up there. No, it doesn't. Let's try again. No. So we're going to have to work out how to attach that. The fact that these are not easily adjustable to exactly the right position is stupid. and quite annoying. The fact that when you do that up, it tends to move as well. The focus is definitely not 120, because 120 is there and it's actually at 130. So either that is a mistake in the very basic manual that doesn't include the other bits that it's come with, or not. Okay, so at this stage I am undecided on this. I think its operation is going to be the key here. They should have taken more trouble with the finish. I don't like seeing cables like this, because that is just waiting to be you know, snapped. Instructions, you've got to include instructions with things, and maybe on the USB stick there are instructions, so maybe we're being a little unfair here, but not everyone's going to want to dive into a USB stick. What have we got here? Is it marked in any way? No, we've got nothing. Doesn't tell us what size it is. I'm just going to plug it in. Actually no, I'll do this on a separate video. We'll have a look at the software installation. We'll do that on another video. So at the moment, yeah, okay, I am reasonably happy with that. But we'll see if there's instructions on the USB drive for the other bits and pieces. They look reasonably good. Bit of thought should have been made on the packaging. The box is great. Longer mains lead probably would have been better, but yeah, reasonably happy so far. So yeah, I'll do a bit more work and we'll perhaps do different videos for this. So I'm just going to tag on this video as I'm right next to the workshop PC. I thought I would just plug that in and actually see what's on it. And Windows was not happy, saying that there are viruses installed on this, in particular a worm, so this isn't going particularly well. I've just plugged it in again. Yeah, and now it's stopping anything being accessed on that drive. So yeah, that is totally unacceptable. Oh dear. Right, might be contacting the seller on this one.